Hello everyone! Welcome to another Drawing with Dannphan, the extra special Tuesday streams. With extra special drawing. Today we're going to be working on another illustration for Reaper. This is going to be one of the illustrations in between the chapters, so you know, I decided to split up the comic into multiple chapters. We'll have some guest artists, and also I'm, of course, doing some art in between the chapters. So if you haven't seen it already on the post I made earlier, this is what we'll be inking up today. Got a little tavern bar shot with Romero and big titty chick, as we do need some more titties in the comic, so saving those for the in-between illustrations, making it work. And it's kind of a cozy scene. This one will be a lot easier to get done quickly than the other one that I was doing, where it's kind of more of an environmental shot. This one is a little bit more centric, character-centric, and yeah. So, we'll start on that, and everyone else can hang out and chat, and tell me how your day was. I think I will have to fix her eyes. I don't know, they look a little bit... Her face in general looks a little bit wonky. I have to do some fixing there. Ooh, man. I don't really have a good ventilation for my laptop here, so hopefully everything will be okay.
Oh. You need a laptop stand too?
Well, it's mostly just because I have stuff to the left of the laptop, so it's like getting trapped in there.
Well, I could just move that stuff.
I guess?
The mouse, probably.
Yeah.
It's a lost cause.
Alright. I'm at work right now and I hate it. Well, relatable. I struggle. I hate doing the boo. I've drawn a picture and I hate it. No, I mean, like, it's fine. I'm not very chatty during these streams just because I'm more so focused. I've had a lot of people explain these streams as being like the ramblings of a madwoman, which is somewhat accurate. I guess that's kind of just what happens when you're not very like focused and you're talking while drawing.
Free comment says he's listening at the gym. He can finally lift again.
Nice. Get them gains.
I remember him mentioning that in the Dannphan thing.
Right.
I don't remember
What the story is?
Yeah, I can't remember what the injury was or whatever it was. But
It was a shoulder injury, I believe.
okay, yeah. So I was just hearing someone else talk about getting like they had some kind of back injury, and they got stem cells to fix it. It was like $30,000 for the stem cells into his spine.
Ooh.
He was just like jogging, and two of his like spine things were
Spine things, yes.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I
No, I get it.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it was. It was either the muscle in between or it was the bones that like broke or something. But
Rough stuff.
I mean, I guess the roughest part is just how expensive stem cells are. Because he's totally back to normal and, like, can do everything fine. So. I think part of that is, like, if you jog when you're a little, when you're, like, heavier, it's supposed to be bad for your back.
Man, that certainly will make it tougher to lose weight, I guess.
You can always walk, you know?
Sure.
Specifically, like, jogging, you're just, like...
But you know, you wanna do something substantial, lose the weight quicker.
You walk with a weight vest, dragging chains, chains attached to a tire. In the cold. And heat.
In the lava.
In the frozen lava. Oh, actually, yeah, you could drag it through like a swamp.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. No spine problems, only alligators.
Get on it. It's the only way you'll get the best gains.
Get the water one temperature around your legs, and then eating hot sun. It's very relaxing watching you do the hair.
Yeah, you know, I'm not that good at doing hair, but I enjoy doing it.
It's almost like watching one of those like feats of like Dude Perfect or something, where someone does something like, requires lots of coordination, lots of practice and whatever. Like they do a backflip or something.
Right, right.
Because to me, making a line go where I want it to be is about as difficult as like shooting a bow and arrow with my feet.
Yeah. Difficult for all of us. Don't even think I like these lines.
He's organizing his anime library.
Sweet. So chat, see any good anime in general recently? We've been watching Kaiju number 8, A Condition Called Love as well. Both are pretty good. Pretty good stuff. Of course, I had already seen the manga, so yeah. I would recommend people who watch Kaiju number 8 also check out the manga. Get the best of the best as far as the art goes. The anime, they made the characters a little bit derpy. Not hideous, just derpy. Let's see. Really liking the Spice and Wolf remake. Enjoying Delicious in Dungeon. Oh yeah, I reviewed that manga as well. Steins Gate and the Cowboy Bebop movie. Nice.
Oh yeah, that movie's beautifully animated.
Yeah. Definitely, for sure. I was also doing some like warm-up art this morning. I was doing like some drawings for this dating sim I was working on the back burner. Not really sure what I'm gonna do with it in the end. I guess it makes sense for me to try to like sell it and whatnot, but I'm also cutting a lot of corners as far as like art goes, and I'm wondering like, can you really charge someone when you're using a lot of public domain stuff for like backgrounds and whatnot?
You just charge someone less, I guess.
I suppose I was already gonna probably not charge a lot if I charged anything, but you know. And I'm not really sure if I want to invest on like hiring anyone to do the backgrounds, because it's like, is anyone really gonna play this? I mean, it could just absolutely flop, you know? And once you invest a lot into it, it becomes more of a burden for it to not do well in sales.
I guess that's the question with a lot of stuff. I think people have the same kind of question with doing book covers.
Like investing in an artist.
Yeah. I might just be more like I might have too tough of an opinion, but I was chatting with someone who's like, I use AI art for my covers because I can't afford an artist. It's like, I mean, you can probably afford an artist. Like if you, like there's always like artists and like.
Yeah, I didn't want to use any AI art because you can always kind of tell, and it's kind of distracting.
It's also kind of like immoral.
Of course.
But There's always like artists like East Asia or whatever, like
There's always artists out there trying to make it in life, you know?
yeah, and like I think it just takes some like some looking if you're short on cash. It's also like I don't know, like it feels like so like would you really want to tarnish your whole book by just like putting someone's like stolen art on your cover?
Probably not. Oh, by the way, I don't know if Chet can hear Adam, but he's talking to me. That's why I'm
Oh.
I'm not just talking to myself, I swear. Not today, anyways. Next time, I'll talk to myself. Oh yeah, you can barely hear Adam. He is, like, opposite to me, on the other side of the room, so...
I'm also not talking about
Yeah. It is to be expected. Try. Give this girl more figure. Something about the placement here is just like throwing me off. Ah, man, it is a hot one once again. It's been like very cold, hot, cold, hot. It's brutal. I don't know how I'm gonna ever like finally put away my winter clothes when I need them the next day. I was in high school, I went on a 10-day hiking trip in the desert. I debated bringing my rain gear. It's a good thing I did because it rained really hard every day there. That sounds like the UK.
Well,
It sounds like Britain.
in the UK it's always drizzling. It's never raining really hard. At least not that I saw. Or not that I was rained on. But it's like every hour or so it'll drizzle again. And it's something you might not notice unless you have glasses and have to clean them off all the time.
Hmm. Sounds like a pain. I don't like rain. Not one bit. So it shouldn't be too long until I'm done the whole book. It's just a matter of, well, finishing up these, like, in-between chapter illustrations, which, you know, doesn't take too long. And it's also about that editing, which actually does take the most amount of time. Editing is a pain. Digging this so far? Glad you are. I'm much better at, of course, character-centric art, since that's kinda what I specialize in, I suppose. I'm not super great at the whole background thing. I'm attempting to get better, but, you know, bit by bit.
Yeah, you definitely have gotten better.
Good.
It's like reading the new draft.
Yeah. I was working really hard on making Reaper more background competent. I like pretty environments, and it would also be nice if I could draw those pretty environments. think I've also been getting better at doing characters too. But, you know, maybe it's not as noticeable as the background stuff. I'm no good at, I can, like, definitely point out mistakes in art where they are. And I'm probably overall one of my worst critics. But it's still always much harder to critique your own art. Because you just get used to seeing it after a while. Hey, Creslet, what is up? Hey, Dedelis in the chat. What is up, man?
Top chat on.
She's hiding them.
Oh, okay. The last name of it wasn't hiding anything. Just I thought you were saying like Daedalus. D-A-E.
Well, I don't even know if I pronounce it right, but I assume he would have corrected me.
No, I was just, it made me think of the ship from Stargate.
Oh, there's a ship from Stargate? Oh,
Yeah,
man,
called
I'm
the Daedalus.
fucking this up a little bit.
But it's like some mythological thing, right? He's a skillful architect and craftsman, seen as a symbol of wisdom, knowledge, and power. He is the father of Icarus, and uncle of Perdix. What the fuck that is.
Sweet. He says, been working nearly an hour. Oh my goodness. Just started work on my own comic, soon to be a webtoon, I hope. Ooh, fun stuff. Gotta fix a bunch of stuff already, and I just started this piece.
to do an octopus of that light blue color.
I did one.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it's in the box. Sorry, I didn't mention it, but...
Oh, yeah, I looked right at this and I was like, oh, that's pretty. What do you think? It's a nice color.
Not yet.
It actually came out pretty good.
How long has the stream been on? I didn't get the notification. Not that long, maybe like 30 minutes or so. But man, has that time flown by.
Meriliths are the guy's username is Merilith 2005 or whatever. It's a neat monster in Dungeons and Dragons. It has 6 arms, so you get to choose where you like attack. It's pretty like simple, but I've never really gotten the chance to use one exactly. Or maybe I have, but it wasn't like. It didn't live long enough to be that interesting. But I think because it's like so simple, people kind of get what's going on. Same thing with a Hydra, I guess, right? Because people,
They get the gimmick.
yeah, it's like if you say how many heads are on the Hydra, then like people are like counting the attacks and they're kind of engaged more. They're like, oh, he has 2 more heads left.
It's getting dark. I better turn a light on or something.
Correct.
Yeah, before I get completely enveloped.
Better turn the light on.
I better.
Fuck it.
Ugh. Hey, Mouse Hive Network says, hey Dannphan, you are very good at drawing. Also, I wanted to let you know, Skibbity Toilet 73 Part 2 is out. It is very insane. Or intense. But it is also insane. Good stuff. Yeah. I remember watching a video, like, covering, that YouTube skit that's been going on forever.
Brett Cooper effect.
Yeah. And it doesn't really seem like she was really confused as to how that could go viral and like what the person must have been thinking when they made it. But it seemed like very clear cut to me. You know, it seems like someone who was just doing whatever for like an animation project, and they did something like really goofy and weird and somewhat horror-esque and uploaded it online. People liked it, and then so he just kept on doing it and making it more and more weird. That's my understanding of it.
I believe your understanding is complete.
It's like, if you go viral on YouTube, make a bunch of money. Of course you're going to keep on creating, like, sequels. And, you know, you can't, unfortunately, you can't really control what goes viral on YouTube. So now that guy is just, like, stuck making a million of those things.
There's worse fates.
Sure. The fight scenes are epic and violent. That sounds about right. Because, you know, that's probably he is getting, like, more serious about doing, like, real animation. Ooh, Doggo's in trouble. And so he does, I mean, I imagine that this person, don't want to assume too much, but this is my headcanon, you know, that he does want to make it a portfolio, and so he has to do something that actually, like, shows off skill. How much does Photoshop cost per month? Too much. It shouldn't be a monthly cost in the first place, really. But lucky me, I am not using Photoshop. I'm using what is currently the bestest program for comic art, until I guess the next thing comes around. They're trying to push Meta Paint, is that what it's called in America? They're trying to push that as being like the next Clip Studio. I don't know how successful they're gonna be, but who knows? Keep an eye out for it, I suppose.
Did you ever roll back your update so you don't have to...
Nah, I gotta do that.
It's such a pain.
Yeah. For those of you wondering what Adam is asking about, their Clip Studio, I don't hate Clip Studio yet, but they did have an update process in which they have decided that you must be online to use the program. Otherwise, how can we verify that you paid for it? As though they wouldn't be able to. But, yeah, very annoying. Don't like. It's just just makes it a pain to actually work on stuff and meet deadlines, especially when you're traveling and you can't really have internet all of the time. So no good. Programs should never require you to be online to use them. But everything else about Clip Studio, I have enjoyed. Just a shame that they don't respect me, you know?
Yeah. After the whole Helldivers thing, I feel like a lot of people should be very wary of things that are like online services.
Mm. Get rid of this tangent. That's why I hate drawing curves by hand. Yeah, CSP is definitely better than Photoshop in a lot of ways, honestly. Photoshop just is one of those programs that got so used to being known as the best and getting away with stuff for name recognition alone. But they don't actually do the work of improving what they have. Well, as Clip Studio has improved a lot of stuff. It took what Photoshop had going and then like made it better. Forgot how good the vector erase tool was. Oh yeah. Good stuff. It's my favorite freaking tool. Makes drawing so much easier. Aha! I've been cheating at drawing the whole time. My secret's revealed. Reference fill tool is also good. Oh yeah. I don't use it as much. Oop, there we go. Because I usually just add a layer to reference layer. But yes, it is also quite good. Sometimes people are looking at these streams here and looking for like some drawing advice. Thank you, but I'm not good enough at drawing to give out drawing advice. I don't know if I could actually help in any substantial way. I'm still learning. A lot of us are still learning. Figuring out things as we go. Hey, look at us. We're making good time on this art piece. It's going by much quicker than the last one. I am kinda done the one with Siddharth and Ichabod, but there's still some things I think I should edit on it before I can say that it's done. Maybe I should make you buy the book to view the finished version. Or post it when the book is released on the website. As we still have to complete the actual campaign. Haven't done a video for this week yet, tragically. Just like had difficulty getting inspired and also on top of that finding time. It's kind of busy because we did a fair during the weekend. Maybe I should have chat request what should be my next video. I'm sure you'd have some interesting requests. I'm up for doing anything. I do have like some ideas on the back burner. They just like require some prep time to do videos on. And that's sort of like the issue, is when you're trying to do a quick video while you're pressed for time. And there's not a lot of quick videos out there that you can do. I can do read-throughs. Read-throughs are always quick. But I don't have any bookmarked at the moment. Ooh. Right. We have a table now. It's not looking too bad so far. I'm still kind of on her face, but I think it's serviceable. What to suggest? Yes. Yes, indeed. Part of the joke I make whenever it's brought up, but also it's true, that I've sort of become like the reactionary read-through channel over time. But like, everyone else that I know that have done like the reaction read-throughs have done much better than me. And I haven't quite figured out why. Maybe their thumbnail game is just better than mine. Current theory.
You're also very nice.
I'm very nice. I'm not nice, I'm mean.
I am not nice.
I am not nice.
I showed you that, right?
Yes, of course.
We're referencing, of course,
The He-Man Christmas special.
The He-Man Christmas special.
I certainly don't think that I'm very nice during those read-throughs. Maybe I'm a little bit too chill. Maybe people want me to yell more.
Moss Hive Network says Dannphan is kind.
No. I'm not nice. I don't know. I take a lot more of an analytical approach to a lot of my read-throughs. Where I'm like, oh, I see what they're trying to do here. But here's why they fail at it. And maybe people just want super reactionary stuff.
I want both.
Yeah, I like to do both. I like kind of doing a mix. Because, like, I am a writer. And if, God forbid, somebody falls into the trap of writing trash, I want them to understand bit by bit why what they're doing is absolutely awful, you know? Read-through of the Lightbringer webcomic. Is that another super bad one? Or is that you plugging your stuff? There's definitely people who like approach me and they're like, oh, please review mine, or like, how much for you to review my webcomic. And then I go and I look at their stuff, and it's like pencil crown drawings.
Well, the Lightbringer.
Oh, what?
The Malwarebytes blocks their website. That's how bad it is.
Wow.
Let's see.
Moss Hive Network says there's a very obscure and long webcomic called Awful Hospital. That's an interesting title. I'll give it that.
So, I don't know. This whole Lightbringer thing doesn't seem so terrible. Just looking
You're
at
just
images
judging
of it-
by, like, art alone?
Yeah. I mean, the art isn't like masterful, but the concept seems kind of neat. It's
What's the concept?
Well, I'm just looking at like the costume design and like I assume he has light powers.
Hmm. I would assume so as well.
Like even if like the drawing itself isn't super good, you know the concept seems neat.
Yeah. Oh, I zoomed in too far. Sorry, guys. You want to see the whole cup. That comic artist has a sheer amount of dedication. That's for the Awful Hospital one. I mean, I give points for dedication, because a lot of people out there are very, like, half-heartedly going into comics and art in general. People see it as, like, the easy job. And that they don't have to try too hard, because people will just read trash. And I respect that a lot less. Like, even some, webtoon trash that I read over. It's like what they wrote was trash. But I'm somewhat empathetic over just like I understand that they were passionate about it and were trying to make something that people liked. Even if they did like swing and miss very hard. I too was given very bad advice on like what I should be writing in my stories once upon a time.
Just like make it gay, put a chick in it.
Yes. Yes. That was the general gist of it. For those of you who didn't hear Adam, he quoted South Park. I haven't exactly mastered sketching out these little textures but I am enjoying doing them. Because it kind of adds that illusion of detail, even though I'm not going too far in depth with doing it. I don't really think I like how I did this skirt wrinkle here.
It would almost be good if you had like a super angry co-host to be like, trash, put it in the dumpster.
I guess that's why people like the Blacklight Jack collabs.
Yeah.
But he like gets really like also exhausted by it. Like at the end he's just like, ugh. While as I'm like, ooh, let's see where this goes. Just can't get happy with this skirt wrinkle. Or dress wrinkle, I suppose. Because I want it to look like it's moving in some sort of motion. Just like not getting it. Also, these are in the way now. Get those out of the way, redraw it. Finished Kaiju number 8 last night. Well, what is out anyways? Yes. I really liked the last few chapters. Obviously things are ramping up a bit in the series, so I don't want to reveal too much. Especially with Adam nearby. He is not caught up. He's been watching the anime with me.
Well, I guess I should read more.
Let's see, the legs are like right here. So I could make it more close to the skin, but let's make it more like this. Yeah, the last few chapters, without revealing too much, they were allowing Mina to be a little bit more emotional, and it got to me. Because she's normally a very, like, cold person. The war has made her cold, etc., etc. But yeah, I always like it when the cold characters break down without sounding too sadistic. I like emotions. Look forward to the Dannphan anime soon. Just working out my contract with Japan now. You know. Yeah, I gotta make sure I keep my printing rights, etc., etc. Or should I, like, show the other side of the cup? Because I guess it is transparent if this is supposed to be the glass cup. I thought it'd be interesting if, like, the implication was that he was, paying extra to get a drink out of, glass. I would pay extra for that. Drinks always taste better in glass. Dannphan wants the emotionless characters to have emotion? Yeah, basically. Ugh. Hopefully my laptop fan isn't too loud. It is chugging. But, yeah. I've considered before, like, oh man, what if I did do paid reviews and, like, I gave everyone an honest review? But I don't know if I have it in me to, like, really slam into a fan's comic. I would always default want to be nice, knowing that they're a fan. It's tragic, I know. I know this other guy who does do the paid review thing, and, he does not have this instinct. He is very brutal. Even to the paid reviews of people. Like, I saw one of his thumbnails. It's titled, in the thumbnail it was titled...
Get fucked, retard?
No. Worst comic I have ever read. Paid review. It's like, oh goddamn. Imagine like paying someone to review your comic and you get the title worst comic that he's ever read. Brutal. But I mean, props for the honesty. Some people really think they can handle harsh critique, and then when the harsh critique comes, they absolutely cannot.
Sometimes though, people just have like I guess it depends, right? It's like sometimes people do a harsh critique because they think it's like cool, or they're
like me.
no, they're like smarter because they're doing a harsh critique.
Like me. Now, some people are nitpicky, for sure. Some people are nitpicky, just because they feel like they have to be.
I feel like it's everyone's like default like response when someone's like super mean in a critique is like, oof, but you know he's honest. It's like, well, kind of. But it's not always the case, because like sometimes people, they just kind of feel like they're supposed to be mean because they saw like Simon Cowell do it or something, and then they're like, oh, this will mean that I'm really smart if I'm like really mean. But then sometimes they're just kind of like, they have kind of weak points and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't watch the video because I was like, I don't want to watch that.
I would click on that.
You would click on it? Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
I'll link you to the video.
I wouldn't necessarily agree with him, but that's quite a move. Like, you know, when someone's like, I hit myself in the head full force with a hammer, you're like, well, I have to see. Not that I think this is a good idea.
Yeah, you tell me how the video is. I'll link you to it. The funny part is, I was also like somewhat considering, like, what if I paid this guy to do a review of my comic? And then I saw that and I was like, oh no, I can't handle it. Confirmed, I am too weak. If you're gonna put that in the thumbnail for one of my comics, I'm fucking done.
Like, again, if he had like a...
It's almost like a warning to anyone who like sends him money to review their stuff.
Like, it could be, like, if he had like an uncle who hates comic books or something, and then he's like, hey, can you review this? And he's like, shit, they stopped showing me this. He like, tears up the comic, and whatever, it's like, alright, so my uncle gave it 0 out of 10. I would give it, like...
Oh, yes, right. It's a good cop, bad cop situation.
Yeah.
You get someone who's super harsh, and then you get to be like the good guy who's like super nice. I wish I had that set up. That would be pretty entertaining. Next DCYA review, we get the good cop, bad cop style. I can have Adam yell at the comic, and then me, I can keep my options open, just in case. To be fair, I hear DC is not paying very well to freelancers, so...
That doesn't really... that, like, excuses, like, rushed art, or, like, you forgot to color the pages or something, but...
Oh, no, I mean, like, with the comment about me keeping my options open.
Oh.
Just saying, like,
is
it worth working for DC? I don't know.
I thought you were keeping your options open for, like, paid reviews.
Yeah, right. Oh, that too, I suppose, yeah. Yeah. Have you say your comic shit, and then at the end be like, get a paid review from me, the nice one. And then the paid review comes around and I just bring you back out. No, not him.
Like Like some WWE shit. Oh no!
Oh no!
He's back! How did he get in?
The mean one. I only want good reviews all the time. It's a bad dog. Bad dog. Who taught him how to bark? It was not me. I swear it. You know, I could make this line less pronounced.
He's not supposed to bark when he has to go and crate. It's like after he barks, he starts like running downstairs to go be punished.
Yeah, he knows, but he just doesn't know that it's like a punishment, I guess.
I mean, I guess he. I don't know.
I do not draw nearly as often as I used to. Yeah, I mean, I like drawing. It's a little bit of a pain to get set up doing like digital stuff like this. And I also have like this instinct, which is not a good instinct, but I have it, where I don't want to get up after I sit down to draw. Like, ever. So I just, like...
You need something?
Not now, but I'm just, like, talking to chat. It's just, like, this instinct where once I start, I need to finish it. Otherwise, like, I'm not allowed to get up. Ever. And that's not a good instinct. Not recommended. I don't think that helps me draw better by any means. If anything, probably draw worse. But... I'm very, like, task-focused, where it'll distract me if I don't finish. And then, like, once I get up to do something, it's like, well, time to take a break forever. And then I never get back to doing it. It's like getting up encourages me to, be lazy sometimes. Not even like I'm not motivated. It's just like a weird psychological thing. But yeah, a lot of my time drawing really is me drawing for projects, because I kinda just, once again, you know, in that mind space of, well, if I'm gonna spend all this time drawing, I might as well make money off of it in the end. So it should be a project that I try to sell. It's kind of like the same deal with like this dating sim thing that I've been working on in the back burner, where it's like, at first I was just doing it for fun, but then I'm like, well, I might as well try to make money off of it if I'm dedicating all this time.
I don't know, is it like money the motivator, or is it like success?
Both? They kind of go hand in hand, right?
I guess. I think they are different though. Like when I think about like releasing a thing, I think about like
Oh, like people enjoying it?
Yeah, or I think like, oh, people enjoy this thing, maybe they'll go enjoy the next thing I make or something.
Yeah. And it is important for people to, of course, like the stuff that I come out with. I wouldn't want to make a bunch of money from, like, controversial blah 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 type thing, but, where, like, everybody hates me, but at least I made money.
Of course.
Not that I can exactly help people deciding to hate me, but you know. If it was my choice, I'd rather do something good and make money from that as opposed to stirring the pot. A lot of people can certainly make money off of like drama and stuff, but I don't see it as a particularly valuable thing to use to make money or get fame or whatever you're trying to do. Alright, got his belts. I guess we can start on textures. Oh, well, I can draw the bag and the money on the table first, I guess. But yeah, closer and closer to just straight up being done the illustration. See, way easier than doing a full environmental shot and drawing every single blade of grass. Who would have guessed, you know? But yeah. Ugh, man. Just gotta line it up just right. There we go. Yeah, so my goal is to have Reaper ready and sent off to the printers by the end of this week. So, as far as like getting last edits done and collecting the art from the guest artists, time is in fact of the essence. We're almost ready to have this baby printed, and then I'll probably do like a proof print first to see how the tones came out, or if there's anything I need to adjust. And then, yeah. It's been one heck of a crazy ride doing this, my goodness. And then hopefully people enjoy it, and I do a book 2, and then people enjoy that, and then I just keep going. That'll be sick. variety of coins on the table.
Yeah, your backgrounds have gotten pretty good.
Thank you. Learned a lot of techniques since Horizon Quest, and that is definitely helping out a lot.
Oh, there's a name for that. David Meyer says, yeah, I'm a starter. I start a lot of projects and get most of the way done only to shelve it at like 90% complete. There's a term for that. I think it's like attributed to some form of like ADD.
Sounds about right.
I'm kind of like that with some games. And I guess some books too.
Yeah, you really need that that motivation roller coaster to just take you the second half of the way. And it's part of the reason why I like to get really early feedback, because you can kind of use the excitement of a reader to like push you to keep going.
100%. Yeah.
Even if my like super early drafts are just like blue sketches, it's still, you know, still gives people a general idea and build up the hype and whatnot. Tragically, a lot of the early readers on Subscribestar don't really comment that much, but comments honestly are what keeps artists alive. Artists and writers, I should specify, because it's really difficult for either to get any feedback whatsoever. Let me actually...
I blame it on my ability to find flaws. Yeah, it's interesting. They say that's the problem with perfectionism, is you're not actually making anything perfect. You're making nothing because you're in theory you're setting a high standard for yourself, but it's not exactly what happens. You have
yeah,
to,
I get that.
Yeah, it's good to want something to be good.
Of course.
But I think perfectionism is something like more specific. It does. I find myself somewhat affected by it too, which is why I'm so critical of that instinct, because it doesn't really make you put together something perfect. It makes you
Overthink everything.
No, I think exactly like he says. Nothing is ever up to my standards. When I see finished work, I'll see the flaws. I think what it does is it saps your motivation. That's like the real problem with it. And then also, sometimes in pursuit of making something perfect, when you're making all of the tiny details perfect, you're making the whole imperfect. By yeah, so it's hard to find a good analogy for it. But like, a lot of times when you're like really deep in a paragraph, and I was gonna go for like an analogy about like gears in a machine or something, but really when you're in a paragraph, right? And you're trying to make this one sentence perfect. You make it a perfect sentence. Then the next sentence doesn't quite flow. It doesn't quite flow into that next sentence super well. So then you have to like stitch them together. You have to like, get that to work. And like sometimes that's fine, right? But let's say you're going through a paragraph and you're even more zoomed in. You want every word to be perfect.
Ooh.
Then you're like, you're not worried about the lines, and you're not worried about the paragraph, and then you're not worried about the page, and then you're not worried about the chapter, and then you're not worried about the book. And so you have a really shitty book with lots of perfect words.
Sure, yeah.
It's pretty easy to accidentally do that to yourself, then have to write the whole
then you just take the part you fucked up, highlight the parts that you like, rewrite it entirely into a different paragraph, and just make sure you're not missing out on anything you really liked from the first version, and then you have your new version, and then you're fine. I had to do that a lot with Slaying the White Valley.
On burningstarcomics.net right now.
Comic books, it's a lot easier, I think, to be like super perfect with every word bubble.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of condensing that needs to be done.
Yeah.
You don't want your comic to be like too wordy.
Yeah, but you can drop lots of like sick lines in a comic and have it be like, because each line gets its own like bubble, and it gets its own like presentation, so you can really like you can put a lot into a particular sentence and have it like pay off.
Right. So now we go on to textures and tones for this baby. Don't even know what I should do first. I guess textures. People find it relaxing when I do like the lines, right? So there we go. There used to be a point in time. My brain is just like going back to talking about the paid review thing. There used to be a point in time where like I offered to review anybody's comic who just like was an indie person and just wanted to send a comic to me to review. And sometimes I would just be like, nah, can't review this one. You still got a ways to go. But like some of them were like not terrible, right? But even then, I feel like I was probably nicer than maybe I should have been.
I feel like you weren't being honest.
I mean, like, I was fairly honest, but sometimes you can, like, sprinkle honesty amongst like also letting them down too gently to the point where they don't get the point or they don't think it's that important.
Right.
And then they don't actually like learn from it. Which is tragic. I think most people in indie comics, though, have, like, improved over time. And those who, like, weren't improving eventually, like, give up on it. So maybe there's a pattern to be had there. Yeah, I guess we'll have to check out those recommended comics, see if they're worth doing some sort of read-through of. I got another manga I'd like to do a Red Flag manga review for as well. It won't be as gross as the last one, I swear. It will hopefully be more enjoyable. I did get complimented on my editing on that last video, so that's nice. I think it lets me know that I'm heading in the right direction. Just gotta add more Vine boom sound effects, and then immediately the comedy is amplified.
But actually,
yeah. Yeah. By the way, Dannphan, Awful Hospital is a very long comic. I don't blame you if you don't want to read it all. Oh yeah, well I haven't read all of Boyfriends either, so... You don't have to read it all to get good content out of it, so long as there's something there. See, Boyfriends is overall a disappointment, not because it's degenerate garbage, but because it gets more boring as it goes on. And then it's no good for making videos anymore. Hey Gabe. Gotta head out to pick somebody up? No problem. I'll probably be done this illustration in just a minute. Just gotta do all this other textures. And then maybe tones. And that won't take long, I don't think. I don't know. It's certainly not going to take as long as the other drawing did. That's for sure. Yeah, it's part of the thing with like comic artists that you wanna ideally be getting faster and faster as you're like working on pages so that you can hit those deadlines easier. For Reaper, I was kind of working slower than previous comics, but it's not because I'm getting worse per se. It's just because I was doing a lot of new and different techniques that I wasn't entirely used to. I was putting a lot more thought into the backgrounds and like learning how to do these new things faster will obviously take some time and adjustment. But as I'm kind of learning them on the spot, it's a difficult. Car battery died today and needed to grocery shop. Quite the unexpected adventure, I can imagine. Sheesh. I had a car where the battery would just kind of always die. Don't know why. It just kind of did. We got like multiple new batteries for that thing and it would just like always die. I'm not a car scientist, I can't really tell you. But lucky me, I got rid of that car. And they'll never know that the battery always dies. Until it dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. My headcanon is that as the next day, as soon as they went to go check on that car, the battery was dead. Because it died the morning of taking it to the place. And we had to jump it. No regrets getting rid of that car. It was a nice car, you know, it was cute. But, battery, you know?
Yeah, I had never heard of that kind of car until I saw it. She has the same car from, if you're familiar with the
Had.
very popular YouTube video, Slav My Ride. She has the same car.
It's Volkswagen Golf. Very cute. Very small. Very blue.
Yeah, they gave you a good price for...
Yeah, it was like a 2002 car or something.
Yeah, and the lady was like not suspicious at all. She was just like, oh yeah, I just have to check if it starts.
And then as she starts it, the horn honks. That was another fun feature of the car. The car had its quirks. Sometimes when you start it, you know, the horn just honks. I don't know why. I'm not a car scientist. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what's going on there. Something about the wiring was just fucky-wuckied when they made the car. But it was a very cute car. What can I say? Adventures of Wacky Car Batteries, the series. Oh yeah. It was better than the first car I ever had. My first car was a Mazda. It had a little bit more serious problems with it. Car battery also dying, but you know, that's how it goes. And the thing that I couldn't stand about the Mazda was that there was like some sort of leak for the AC. So you would charge it up, but then like one ride later, it's just blowing hot air at you instead of cool air. And that was brutal driving to college with no AC, basically. I almost died, but it's okay. The Mazda is no more. Zoom zoom, more like doom. Doom. Got him.
My old car had a bit of a issue with the AC just like making noise.
Yeah. Your old car had the issue of falling apart.
Yeah, so if you're not familiar, there's an interesting thing that happens with mechanics that are like mechanics you like, right? What you want to hear, what someone wants to hear from their mechanic is that there's no problems, right?
Of course.
So my dad has this mechanic company, whatever, that he goes to that he likes. And he likes them because they tell him that there's no problem.
But sometimes there is a problem.
Yeah, sometimes there's a huge fucking problem. So they don't even check to see if there's a problem. They just tell my dad there's no problem. Until it's such a massive problem, then they go and fix it, right?
Yeah.
And because they're like, well, this guy always comes to us. So as long as we keep him happy by telling him there's no problem, when he eventually decides it's a problem, he'll come to us. Right, and that's the logic behind it, right? So my car was snapped in half, like the whole, like, you know how there's there's metal beams that go from one tire to the other, like is it the axle? Yeah, I think the axle itself was snapped in half.
Yeah, you don't want one of those snapped.
So the whole car would like creak on bumps and stuff, right? Because it's not like entirely, it's like corroded out like crazy, right? It's like
The wind would push it. Yeah.
Yeah, so on the highway, the wind would push it, and I wouldn't be able to control the car super well. So I'd turn on all-wheel drive, and that would fix it. Now my dad, being so smart, he was like, "That shouldn't fix anything. Don't use that. That will cause you to have like." It'll be fuel inefficient. And I'm like, well, I don't...
Well, I would like to live.
I was like, listen, I don't know how much more blunt I can be. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to use all-wheel drive on the highway. I don't care. You have no idea what you're talking about. Which was like, you know, he was cranky.
It's not what a dad wants to hear, but yeah.
But I'm alive. And when eventually some mechanic was like, some new guy was like, hey, wait a second, this car is snapped in half. Should we fix that?
We're supposed to fix that snapped in half car?
They were like, oh, yeah, you know, the dealer should have caught that. It's like, what do you mean? The fuck do you mean? Like, yeah,
well, like, all they had to do was, like, lift the car up to have noticed it, or look underneath the car.
Yeah. And, like, I've seen my car there on, like, a lift, right? So it's like, I know they've done it.
Yeah, that's brutal. But you have a much better car now.
I do, yeah.
So, works out.
But the reason the all-wheel drive was helping was because the car was like snapped in half or something. And so only by using all-wheel drive was I able to like control the car. The specifics I don't remember. But the mechanic was like specifically like, there's no way this is road legal. Like if the wind blows, you're gonna crash off the road. He's like, well, no. I pushed the all-wheel drive and it worked. So.
Yeah, jury rigging. Ugh.
I learned how to compensate for the wind pushing me into other lanes and stuff, right?
Right. Because you had to. If you didn't want to die, of course.
Glad you're both alive? If that's so scary, glad you're both alive? Yeah, you know, it's funny. That is a good point. I did drive Trisha very long distances very often in a car that was snapped in half.
Little did we know.
So I think the moral of the story is if you just ignore the problem...
It'll get worse.
Yeah, but you'll probably be fine for like 5 years. That car had that creak for a long time, and that was like the car being snapped in half, and it was fine.
Well, it wasn't fine. By the grace of God, we just didn't die.
When the wind blows, it's kind of like controlling the car on ice, something like that. So like one time that happened, and I was like, yeah, I was fine, but like this could totally kill me.
Good, yeah.
And it's
Alright.
not like I didn't tell my dad there was a problem. Like I was like, he was like, is there a problem with the car? Should I sell anything? It's like, yeah.
He's like,
I
yeah,
mean,
there is,
the
actually.
whole car blows across the road when the wind blows, and I said that for a couple of years, and then gave up, and didn't bother saying it. And then eventually I was like, yeah, I mean, it comes very close to like death every time I drive. So maybe there's something that can be done about that. I don't know. I'm not a car scientist. I don't know on TV. Fuel efficiency.
The real issue, yeah. Fuel efficiency.
Hurting your fuel efficiency over there. And then he told me what the mechanic said as though it would be news to me. He's like, if the wind ever blew, it would have blown you across the road. And I was like, yeah,
it did blow.
I mean...
It blew quite a bit.
I mean, blow me across the road, kind of, right? You can kind of adjust for it. But, I must say, not recommended.
No. Axle snapped in half. Psh, 'tis only a flesh wound.
I still remember, like, my dad was saying something, like, I was driving with him and he was like, oh, you should turn on the heat or the air conditioning or whatever, and I was like, I only really like to turn it on if I'm, like, maxing it out. Just so, like, whenever I turn on the air conditioning, I like it to be freezing. And then my dad was like, oh, that's probably why your air conditioning had a problem that one time, and I was like, what are you talking about?
As though you're not supposed to max out the AC.
No, I was like, if anything, I should teach you how to use an air conditioner. You've broken 3 air conditioners how you use it. You should ask me for lessons. I'll teach you lessons. I'll I was like, if you're nice, I'll offer to teach you how to use the air conditioner, because like his car had like 4 or 5 problems with the air conditioner. They're like, yeah, it's just every couple of years it has a problem. It's just the normal air conditioner problems or whatever. I had a problem with my air conditioner maybe once or twice. Whereas like both he and my mom had to have their air conditioning system like totally fixed many more times than me. And it's probably just luck, right? But like you know, don't throw stones in a glass house. Like
yes.
he had so many air conditioning problems. It's like, you know, actually, as it turns out. That being said, I usually don't use the. I mean, I use air conditioning when it's like the summer, but I don't often use heat. Just because, like, I don't mind being freezing. If like I'm driving Trisha, obviously, I can't freeze her.
Yes, I would prefer not to be frozen myself.
But yeah, most likely totally luck that that I didn't have air conditioning problems very often. But it was fun.
Yeah, right.
Although I have learned how to control a car, like I guess the bright side is I have learned how to control a car through lots of turbulent conditions. Sliding on ice with a car split in half, you know? It's, hydroplaning when your wheels aren't connected to each other, it's an experience, let me tell you.
Oh yeah. That was just training. Now the training wheels are off.
I managed to control the car while like hydroplaning without the wheels being connected, without Trisha noticing. So I think I got the car well under control.
Mm-hmm.
You should be a stunt driver.
Yeah, really. You have all the experience now.
I know how to drive a hydroplaning car with an axle broken in half on the highway. If that doesn't get you in, I don't know what will.
Hey, we know a stunt guy.
Yeah, I don't know if
I don't know if you ever told him that story.
No, I guess not. But
It's definitely a funny one.
I remember my friend, his car was broken, so he needed me to pick up his little brother with him, who was doing like some play or whatever. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, you know, it's so stupid, like why he was even like doing the play in the first place, because it was so dangerous. Like it was pouring snow down. Like it was like the worst driving conditions I'd ever seen. It was like really heavy snow, but the snow wasn't even snow. It was like slush coming down.
I see.
And so there was this, like, there were rivers you
That
could
is
see.
the worst, yeah.
Yeah, like there were rivers you could see under the road of just like water going underneath the slushy snow, and there was like some ice in the mix or whatever because there was big temperature fluctuations, right? So it was like black ice / ice, and then on top of that was like water, and then on top of that was slush. It was like as bad as you could possibly imagine. Without like Yetis coming up and pushing your cars. Just giant ice golems just flipping your car off the road. So we were going down to stop at a red light at the bottom of this like slope, and it wasn't happening, right? Like I was like, that's why I hate the automatic like braking features that.
Oh yeah, those are terrible.
Yeah, like they immediately put like the anti-lock. They go because that's terrible. That's just how you crash. Like it immediately starts sliding you forward. Like I'll be braking,
Very not
and then
helpful.
it'll turn on the automatic like, and then I'm just like, I understand you don't want to lock up your brakes, but I don't.
I also don't want to die.
I don't want to lock up my brakes either. So I don't. That's why I like pump
You're
the brakes.
right.
But like, so I'm like going down the hill. I'm like, yeah, no, we're not stopping. I was just
Not
like,
happening. Not
I was
today.
like, yeah, this isn't happening. So what are we gonna do? I'm like looking around, and I'm like trying to kind of turn the wheel a little bit extra, but you don't want to turn so much you like skid. Because if you turn the wheel while you're going, you kind of kill your gas mileage or whatever. Like
Yeah.
you sort of get more friction, so you sort of slow your car down a little bit.
Sure.
So, I mean, there's kind of no rules when there's like that much snow. So I just like drove up over the sidewalk, over this hill, into it was like a little hill up into like a used car lot, because there was room. Like they didn't pack the cars in super tight, so there was room to get in between two of the rows of cars. And then I just like stopped for a second, and then gave the guy I almost rear-ended like a thumbs up. And then he gives me like 2 thumbs up, like good job. And then I just drive through the used car lot, and then I guess it was a car dealership, a new car. It's it's like a car dealership, but they're selling you like refurbished cars.
Yeah, right. Used car salesmen's. Alright, so what do I gotta do? I gotta just do like the table and then tones. I could give a little shine to, I guess, the coins as well. Not that I really think it needs too much of a shine, but I could do that. I'll do the table first to see how much texture. Yeah, easy drawn. Don't have to do anything super spectacular. I just draw people. The best. I hope for those of you who backed the campaign, you're excited to get your books. Hope you enjoy the books. Hope you review the books. Ooh. Remember what I said about how it's difficult for a lot of people to get feedback.
Oh yeah, that's always like so nice.
Yeah. Don't put in the thumbnail though, worst comic I've ever read. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, you know, it was funny. You were like saying like, how would you like it if someone was backseat
Backseat writing.
Yeah, like, because I was saying that it's like silly that people are not okay with backseat gaming. 'Cause it's like, I mean, why are you here? Like, why stream video games? Like, I get it if it's like,
And someone is like giving dumb advice or something.
no, like, I think, like, if someone's, like, really anxious, right, and they're like, oh, no, you gotta go over there, you gotta go over there, oh, you should change your build, you should do a different character. Those are, like, if someone's anxious, or if they're trying to get you to, like, change what you're doing entirely, like, make a new type of character,
Mm-hmm.
that's, like, as useful as being, like, you should play Minecraft or something.
Of course, yeah.
So I get, like, not wanting people to be super anxious in your chat, and I get, because you don't want someone to be so, like, worked up that they're like, oh, I can't watch this, I need to relax.
Mm.
I get that, but also it's like, I kind of think of it like, if you're gonna play a game, like, if your friends are like, oh, can we see this game or whatever, and then you, like, turn it on, and then you're playing and showing them stuff, and then they're like, oh, go do this. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's what they're gonna. You could ignore them, but you can't be like, get out of the house. Put a muzzle on Jimmy. I watched someone who said no hints.
No hints? Okay.
Yeah, because he was playing like Dark Souls 2. And then I was like...
Fair.
I was like, oh, after you beat this boss, I'll tell you the... I was like, oh, it's a good thing you have the no hints thing up. Because people would give you terrible advice at this part.
Mm. Yeah.
And then I was like, after you beat the boss, I'll tell you if you want the advice that you saved yourself from. And then after he was like, okay, what was it? And I was like, he was fighting the pursuer, and it's like, okay, so you can shoot the crossbow, or you can shoot the ballista at him.
Well, that's not really that.
And then he's like, oh, that's cool. And then he was like, oh, there's no. And then he's like, sees how slow it is. He's like, there's no fucking way you could get that to work. I was like, you can, but.
Yeah, it's just like not ideal, I guess.
Oh, what's the name of the currency?
I mostly just have it be like the D&D thing where it's just like copper, silver, gold, yeah. Just like pieces. I did stylize them so you can tell which coins are which though. So like gold, silver, copper.
That's good.
Yeah. Especially when you're dealing with black and white. It's good to have like visual cues.
Fantasy money is exciting. So sometimes people will have a different name for gold coins as opposed to like the normal currency that gets used. So like a crown is sometimes the biggest coin. Sometimes people say like a sovereign or something for like a really expensive gold coin or something. But I think the typical German thing is marks. Pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so. I like Marks. Marks is good.
I think there's some demo or something I was looking at. The money was Groschen or something. I feel like I've seen that before. Funnily enough, the original D&D money, it was historically accurate to the actual exchange rate between copper, silver, and gold.
Oh, that's interesting.
And historically, I think it was 11 silver or something like that, which is so weird. It was like 11 silver into a gold, and then I think it was 10 copper into a silver, which is just like,
Huh.
it fucks up all your math.
Yeah, that is weird.
Or it could have been like 7 or something bizarre.
Some bizarre, like, special number.
A little bit like the blues. Copper and bronze are underrated metals. True facts. Copper and bronze are both, what do you call it? Antimicrobial, so they can clean things. So, like, if you had silverware out of, like, same thing with silver, for that matter, but
Yes. Silver is cool, because you can kill werewolves with it.
this is true. Using metal as a currency is weird to me. Well, I mean, it has an inherent value, right? Because you can make other things out of them.
This is true.
Not least of all is like jewelry and stuff.
Solar panels.
Also, silver and gold, they don't corrode, right? So they will exist for a long time. I wonder, like, that'd be a neat post-apocalyptic world where you have plastic as a thing, because it's like won't break down easy. You have like plastic coins or something. If it was like a post-apocalyptic like medieval thing, it'd be like they can't make plastic anymore, but they use it as their money. Get their microplastics in their pockets. The royalty have cheap disposable plastic silverware. Never been a fan of rubies because it sounds too much like ruby.
Yeah. Although exchanging rubies sounds pretty cool.
It does, yeah. Like Spyro.
Yeah.
Gems are just like the standard currency.
Fucking awesome.
I kind of like that as an idea. Because crystals are cool.
Yes, and it gives like a purpose for them.
Yeah.
Reason why you'll want a lot of them.
Battle Angel had chips. I always thought the money in Batman Beyond was super cool. Speaking of chips, it was like chits, I think. Like C-H-I-T, chit. That is also true of Mass Effect and maybe Deus Ex Mankind Divided, unless I'm mistaken. I believe you can pick up credit chits, which is just like a preloaded credit card or something. Because I remember there was the episode of like Batman Beyond where they were counterfeiting credit cards, and like this giant press was like pressing out, was like stamping out all these credit cards. And then like when they mugged someone, like a bunch of like prepaid cards like fall out of their they're like turning them upside down, shaking them instead of instead of change and bills, it was like a bunch of little credit cards.
That's pretty funny. The way of the future, of course. Man, Batman Beyond was a good show.
Oh my god, is Double Dollars from Trigun?
I thought Double Dollars was from Cowboy Bebop.
That's what I thought. Do they both do Double Dollars? But yeah, no, Double Dollars is the funniest commentary on like
Inflation.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's 1 million double dollars.
You mean like 2 million?
Bebop had Wulong? Is that right?
You got them mixed up?
Yeah.
I guess so.
Trigon.
I like double dollars though.
I've seen so many like lesbians dressed up as Vash the Stampede.
Yeah, especially recently. At conventions, everyone's getting dressed up as that specific character.
Yeah, I gotta say on the tier list, I wouldn't put. That would be a fun video. Actually, it's like fantasy money tier list. Like, what sounds the coolest?
Sure.
So I gotta say, Wulong doesn't sound that good. Wong doesn't sound that good. Rupees, no. Rubles, no.
We should do like an anime tier list thing.
Drachma, no, because that sounds like. I don't know.
Sounds like a creature.
Yeah, or like a evil king, or
Yeah.
like a location, like the capital of the evil empire, or like
Drachma.
those are elite soldiers from Drachma.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Drachma Iron Breakers. Look out. Yeah, like, money though, I don't know. Oh, Gil isn't bad.
Gil is not bad.
That's Final Fantasy? Yeah. Maybe the worst is Money from Kingdom Hearts. Munny.
Yeah, I got what you mean.
I would take Money over rupees though.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Alright.
Maybe I just have more nostalgia for Kingdom Hearts. I've been at a convention and I don't believe that I saw anyone dressed as a character from Trigon. Lots of has-been hotel characters though.
Oh yeah, that's the new thing.
Yeah. I thought it.
Teenagers wanting to be edgy.
Every time I see a lesbian dressed up as Vash the Stampede, I think, oh, you're supposed to be Jubilee from her vampire arc. Because she had the same jacket.
Well, it's like the new costume, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always fun when you like someone's like passing you in a costume and then you're like, oh, you're this guy, and then they're like, thank God, finally.
And then when you're completely wrong, they're like, oh.
Yeah, people don't. I don't know. People don't get that sad about it, but like, there was one guy who was dressed up as Nick Fury.
Yes, you
And
told
then
me about
everyone
that.
was like,
Nobody knew.
yeah, nobody knew. Everyone was like, oh, you're the governor. And he was like, who the fuck is the governor?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's from that like zombie show or whatever.
It's rough with the new like MCU
Yeah.
completely changing like Nick Fury's appearance.
Yeah, making him like Samuel L. Jackson, like even in the comics, it's just.
Well, now nobody will know, or at least the normies won't know.
Yeah, but that Nick Fury was super cool. He had such a cool aesthetic. It was such a cool character. But then the other one was oh god, I can't remember the band. There was this band and these people were cosplaying like their sort of style. Oh, Turisaz. That's what it was called. Turisaz with Z at the end. Like Thursday, but it says. As someone who grew up with Zelda and Kingdom Hearts, I will not take the slander. Hey, I put money above above the Zelda currency, but I mean, you know, like when someone's like,
Was it like that in the original Japanese version, or is that just like the English?
I think I changed the language to Japanese at some point. It still said money in English,
Yeah, that sounds better. Okay.
but I could be wrong. I might have, or no, not change the language, but I think I might have looked up a video of someone playing Japanese and then saw the pop-up say like one money pickup or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what they in Twilight Town, I believe they're paying for something and they're like, oh, it's 5 money, and it's like,
That
It's not
doesn't
good.
sound right.
It's like it's one thing to say I have 1,000 money. It's like,
Yeah.
but then it's like that'll be 5 money, sir. Eh. Gil isn't too bad, but oh, you know what's the a real good one? Septims from the Elder Scrolls. That sounds like it's a lot of money when someone's like that'll be 3 septims. It's like, oh, big money, right? It feels like very valuable.
Sure.
And then The Witcher, it's orens. Yeah. What's your favorite Kingdom Hearts game, though? The second game. I haven't played much of the first game. I streamed a little bit of it, but I never finished it, and I haven't played the third game. Although I played the demo like at the spot, like they had a demo like place all built up and like furnished like it was Castle Oblivion. It was all styled like that.
That is so cool.
In well, you were there in Disney Springs, the new downtown Disney. Skooma is the best currency. Skooma definitely sounds like a super degenerate drug. Like
Yeah, they got that perfect.
if someone's a skooma addict, they're a real piece of shit. Or here's a question. What's the best sounding fantasy drug?
Oh, now we're getting into drugs.
So there's skooma, right? Skooma does sound like you're such a bum, like you're such a mess. If you're drinking skooma, throw him off the bridge. Get that guy out of the city. Then in The Witcher, or at least in the Witcher 1 video game, I don't remember it from the books at all, but Fizz Tech. That was like a cocaine thing.
Interesting.
Psycho from Fallout? Nah, because you would call people psychos, right? So it's like too.
It's not degenerate enough.
Yeah. But jet in Fallout, I would say that's good because you don't have actual jets anymore. So when someone is referring to jet, it has to be the drug. Buff out? Nah. It's fine, but Mentats and Buff Out both sound like they could have been commercial products, and that's the point. They're supposed to have been. By the way, Jet is supposed to be super addictive, and I can totally buy that because in the game, like Fallout 2 is where it's introduced, I think, unless it was in. I don't know if it was in 1, but they make a big deal out of it in 2, and they talk about how people are addicted to it. It gives you extra turns in combat, and so it's like in a turn-based game. Of course, you get addicted to like a haste.
Right.
A haste potion, of course. Like, yeah, that makes sense. It doesn't take any actions to use it, and then it gives you action points. And like, each attack is like X number of action points, depending on your weapon. Just like VATS, but yeah, you can only fight with VATS. Moon Sugar's not bad. That's like what's in Skooma. Did you beat Sephiroth in Kingdom Hearts 2? I did. I beat him at like level whatever it was that I naturally came across him, And then I loaded and then beat him a bunch of different times with a bunch of different methods. I was very upset that he wouldn't respawn. I was like, it was very fun. So, the easiest way is, of course, using Reflect, but I feel like that's cheating. So.
Alright, I think I'm just about done with this art piece. I don't know, is there anything else I should do to it? I think it's basically done. I'll probably find out some sort of flaw later on and then rush to fix it, but I think this is good.
You've never beaten him yourself? You've never beaten Sephiroth? Well, if you just want to have the feeling of victory, Reflect. Reflect just makes you win. Because, you know, it reflects spells, and he uses, like, those big-ass meteors. It's so strong.
So look at that, we actually did a draw. Oh my god, it's almost been like 3 hours. I didn't intend for it to go down. It's one of those things that I mentioned before where it's like, once I sit down, I have to finish it. But this one I actually could finish in one sitting, so it was extra tempting, you know? But yeah, looking good. Kingdom Hearts 358 is my favorite story.
What a fucked up title for a game. It's like, okay, so the timeline goes 1, 2...
Yeah, that's
358 slash 2! What?
That is, that's quite confusing.
In the Road Redemption, you can straight up buy heroin. That's great. What's the name of the ale?
I was just imagining it was beer, but,
Yeah.
you know, German-esque,
Dark
country, yeah. Ugh. But, yeah, I'll call this a successful drawing stream. We actually finished the thing. And, I think it turned out pretty okay.
That looks good.
Yep, doing the flip test to make sure that it doesn't turn into some horrible creature. It looks acceptable.
The woman is very cute. I agree. It looks a little bit, tiny little bit like the chick from Your Lie in April.
Oh, interesting.
Which is a good sign.
The eyes are like kind of similar to that art style, which I did like practice sketches before when I was picking up new techniques, so I think I just defaulted to that.
I wonder what money is supposed to look like in Kingdom Hearts, because when you pick it up, it's just a ball of metal, like a huge fist-sized ball. And if that's a unit of one,
It's just like easy for them to like render in the world.
yeah, if that's one unit, right, then it's like...
These giant balls that you're just passing to people.
So then it's like, okay, that'll... It's
What
like,
if they're just Orbeez or whatever those...
He has the Zorbeats or whatever. And it's like, if you want to buy like a potion, it's like 250, so you just like... You just have this huge sack of metal balls.
Something to consider making a print for conventions. I don't know if it's that good, but... We have posters that we try to push over conventions. They don't sell as well, surprisingly.
Yeah.
I think the posters look awesome, but, you know, I guess people are looking for, like, more high-quality prints these days.
Why do you think Sora's pants are so baggy? Yeah, so
Yeah,
he's
to fit the Orbeez.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, what if it takes water for them to expand or something like that? So when you pick up the giant ones from the floor, he squeezes out, like, put it in his pocket.
How hard is it to keep an adult manhwa review on YouTube? Well, you gotta censor out the peen, that's for sure. I probably have to censor out a few things.
Maybe we should read another chapter of, what was it, the licking a dog thing? Was that the good one? There was two. One was better than the other ones.
You liked the licking a dog thing.
Yeah.
I didn't really like that one though.
I like how they managed to have these very dramatic poses and then say something completely ridiculous.
The whole plot is just absolutely ridiculous. But at the end, he's like simping to give the girls money. Like, he's going to OnlyFans and shit like that.
Oh,
That's
is
like,
he?
yeah, that's how he ended it, because he has to spend a lot of money on women so he can get money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's like the plot, and it's ridiculously stupid. But yeah, so he resorts to, oh, I know a good way to like spend a lot of money on women. Streamers, of course. And that's where we ended our read through. That was a funny reaction though.
I like the drinks. The drink
So many drinks.
Yeah, the drink that was like $30 and he's like, oh, I'll buy all 200 of them. They're like, what? But that will be so much money. Ah.
Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous. Wait, a Korean comic about tasting dogs? Well, no. Apparently, like, dog licking is just like a term for, simps. Yeah.
But I think it was Chinese?
I don't know. My friend and I are doing a podcast about Jinx where I explain Jinx to him. I've been hate reading and using it as psych profile to practice for my job. Lol. I've never heard of Jinx before. Besides, you know, all the other things from which Jinx is used. It's like brown nosing. Yeah, right. Although in the context of the comic, it was very much simpanzees, as they say. Alright. So, I think we're done. I'm wondering if, like, the top of her head is too big. Looking over it, and I'm like, I don't think it's too big, but maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe if I stop looking at the illustration for a while and then look at it again, I'll be able to tell. For right now, me looking at it, it kind of just looks like she has thick hair. And maybe that's fine. So, yeah. Hey, you love to draw. You're catching us right at the end of the drawing stream, because I actually finished the illustration this time. Unlike that super long multi-stream, didn't even finish it on stream, illustration of Ichabod and the Siddharth statue. That was, I mean, I'm still not even sure if I'm finished it, because I think I still want to go over and, like, fix up stuff, but calling it for the moment. Yeah, trees. Nothing but drawing trees for a very long time. Luckily, this one, I decided not to even do a background. I decided to just make it nice and simple. Probably for the best, honestly, because it's actually done. But yeah, I think we'll probably call the stream here. Since we got done the illustration and everything. But we can also do a Dannphan stream if any of you still hanging in there watching are interested in watching us play games on the Dannphan's channel. We do late night streams of that as well. Yeah. As far as updates on Reaper, mostly just doing editing and waiting to get some illustrations from our guest artists. And then it's off to the printers, we get a proof, approve or disapprove the proof. And yeah, get the books and ship them out. Everything else we basically have. Like, we have all the Sidhar statues printed. We have the Ichabod busts. We got the special boxes for people who got, like, the statues and stuff.
Oh yeah, the special boxes are cool.
I got the posters, but the posters are, like, kind of paper thin, so I got new posters that I'll ship out to the backers. And, yeah. Then it's just about shipping, and I don't think shipping will take that long. I don't think you'll have to wait too long to get the books once they get to me. It's just a process of getting a few boxes and taking them to the post office. But yeah. What are you playing? Oh, on the Game Fans channel? I'm not sure. Yeah. Last time we played Remnant 2, and before that we were playing, or Adam was playing XCOM 2. We had a request to play Mario RPG, and I also want to at some point play the Dark Souls 3 Archthrones mod. It's like an overall mod that like adds new areas and new bosses and everything.
Yeah, maybe we should do that. I don't know.
It might take a while to get it set up.
It will, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to promise that I'm going to play that tonight, per se, but at some point, I do want to play it. I'm a Souls fan, you know, and it looks, like, really interesting. Normally, I'm not, like, very mod-heavy on my games, but I like the look of the art. I'm into it. Ever play Dragon's Dogma? Yeah, I did a huge playthrough of Dragon's Dogma on stream. I think I played through the whole story.
No, I did like the fake ending of the story, and then it's like the
no, not the fake ending.
It was like the giant pit opened up, remember? And then you had to do that whole section. I'm at like the same part where you have to fight all the stuff in the pit.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a pain.
And then I think you fought the giant eyeball, or was that?
I was playing a lot of the DLC last time we streamed it. I didn't pick up Dragon's Dogma 2. From what I heard, it's not that great, although visually it looks nice. I'll give it that. Obviously, Elden Ring is S tier, so I'll be playing the Elden Ring DLC when that comes out in June.
Oh, and will you play Stellar Blade anytime soon? I mean, no. When it comes out for PC, if it comes out for PC, then yes. But if it doesn't, then no. I'm not going to buy a PS5 for it. I would just never buy a console.
There's, there's no real point.
Yeah. But I liked Vindictus, which the company did. And they weren't that money-grubbing for a Korean MMO.
As far as Korean MMOs go,
right? As far as Korean MMOs go, it was pretty okay. It didn't give me those, like, Black Desert Online vibes. Yeah, because I like Vindictus, I bet if they're trying to make it a little bit more Dark Souls-y, they're probably putting together a pretty good game. I think, like, when people, like, just worship Dark Souls and make everything like Dark Souls, it ends up kind of bad. But if you just take, like, what do you call it, like an action game, like Devil May Cry or something, and you throw a little bit of,
Souls elements?
Yeah, like literally just the damage mitigation as a core part of the gameplay. Like that I think is pretty good because Vindictus, not all the characters were very fun for damage mitigation. Like my favorite character was Herc, and his damage mitigation was like sometimes kind of fun, but it was like kind of depending on the tempo of the boss, it was weird because you would have to dash or basically roll in order to do the best combo. So you always have to be doing the dash. But the dash is also how you avoid damage. So, like, you could just not be attacking or you could be attacking, kind of.
Yeah.
So, like, you have to... but if you get the boss's tempo just right, or they have a particular tempo, you can avoid damage and do, like, a ton of damage. And then there's also, like, parries if you attack at the same time they attack or something. It was very janky, and it was like kind of sometimes you just destroy bosses, but then other times you would destroy bosses, but it just wouldn't feel very good. So it's like,
Feel too powerful, yeah.
no, it just wouldn't. You'd be, you get the job done, but it wouldn't be very clean. It wouldn't feel cool. Like you're not reacting to what the boss is doing. You're just
Pressing the right inputs.
you just like it's like a turn-based game. You're just like start, damage, cycle,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
win, hopefully, or die.
I get what you mean. Anyway, we'll call it a stream for now, and maybe perhaps see you on the Game Fans channel later. I'll try to figure out a video, or maybe I don't know. Maybe Adam wants to do a video with me.
Sure.
For this week. So.
Speaking of Souls clones, have you
Or
played
well,
the
maybe
game?
not this week if I'm gonna do a video with Adam because anyway. So good night, or perhaps see you soon. Bye, everybody.